So one of the coolest things that makes games fun is the unexpected. In fact, randomness gives us the surprise and puts the fun in guessing throughout games. Consider Super Mario Brothers that you're watching here right now. See how the mushrooms and the bricks and the holes and everything that comes at random? While these things are technically random, the appearance that they are is what actually makes the game fun, right? The fact that there were just like 3 mushrooms right there, or you could go down that particular pipe and not the other one, or the fact that there were a bunch of like little coins here in this last block. What's cool about all of this is that the randomness makes this game fun. In this section, we're going to learn how to use some basic randomness features and how they work. To get started out, we're going to learn the math.random function. You guys can follow along in CodePen, and you guys can see and do everything that I'm doing right here. So as you know from previous lessons, JavaScript can do math. JavaScript also has a wonderful function that creates a random number, like I said. It's this math.random function. It's called math.random because it gives you a random number. So if we want to create a random number and put math.random as function as value, then you can see that every time the variable loads, it produces a random number. So let me show you how this variable loads. So let's just put it here, variable, we'll call it random number, and we'll make it to equal math.random. Just so that you can see it, I'm going to use the console.log. You don't really need to know the console.log too much, but it helps you test things out like the random method. So check it out. I just did the console log and cool beans. A random number is coming up, right? So every time I reload it, it gives me a random number. You kind of notice the problem though with all of this? It's a random number between 1 and 0. That's really not all that helpful, right? So here I have like 6.43, 0.89, and then like all of these digits, right? So there's a way, so thinking about math here, that there's a way that we can actually turn this decimal number into a whole number, right? Or at least a number that's not just between 1 and 0. So if you think back to your math days here, all you have to do to turn this decimal into like a bigger number is multiply it by something. So let's just say you're going to want to multiply it by 10, for example. Let's see what happens there. Oh, check it out. 3.14. And so before this was probably 0.0 or 0.3149 blah blah blah. Well, what's cool about it now is because I took it times 10, it just moved the decimal spot. Now we have 3.14. Well, see the problem? It's still 3.149 blah 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 blah. There's a ton of stuff there. So how are we going to solve this one? Well, for that, we actually have another function that is built right into every JavaScript console. All the browsers can read it and everything else. This is actually called the math.floor function. This math.floor function, what it does, it rounds the number inside of its function down by 1. Or down to the nearest number, not down by 1, sorry. It's down to the nearest number. So if I put this into the parentheses, so for example, instead of just this math.random, I take math.floor and I put it up here, and then I just make sure that it's surrounded by its parentheses here. Check it out. It gives me just 6. So it was probably like before I put this math.floor thing here, it was 6.25, blah, 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 blah. And now this math.floor, it rounds it down to the nearest whole number. So what we have is just 6. Check it out. I can just load it again and it gives me 6 again. Okay, well, let's see if we can get another random number. And it gives me 8. Cool. Or 0. So it's giving me a number between 0 and 10. Let's check it out. 9. You can do this all day long. Just get random numbers. Another 9. 5. So pretty cool. In fact, this is the best way that you can get a random number. But the big question is, how can you work with randomness in arrays, right? I mean, we've just been talking about arrays and how incredibly nice they are, and here I'm only getting random numbers. So how would I get a random value out of the array? Well, Now that you have a good intro into the randomness function, let's learn how to use them with arrays. Remember how you call a value in an array? So let's say, remember our characters array that we had right here? I'll bring it back. Here we go. There's characters. So we have all these characters here, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Yoshi, from one of my favorite games, Mario Kart 8. And remember how to call a value out of this characters array? Well, all I have to do is write character and then my little square brackets, and I can call Mario by putting 0, I can call Luigi by putting 1, Peach by 2, and Yoshi by putting 3 in here. Cool. So I can even like store it in a variable if I want. Let's see here. I'll put Yoshi 3, and then I'll put variable winner. And my character is, or my winner is character in the index number 3, which would be 0, Mario, 1, Luigi, Peach is 2, and then 3. It would be Yoshi. So Yoshi's my winner. But what if I want to get like a random player? So you know that function, or if you've ever played Mario Kart, that option that like give me a random player to race with? Well, that's what you can do here. You can use a function like this or the random method to do it. So how do I get a random number to actually get me a random character out of this array? Well, what you can do here is in fact take this little math.floor within the math.random times 10, you can actually put it inside these square brackets. But why would I want to do that? Well, if you remember here, this is what this is doing right here for me, as we've already seen. Check it out. It's giving me another random number down here, 8. It's giving me this random number 8. Well, what this is actually doing for you here is getting you just a random number between 0 and 1. Well, guess what? That random number is going to become the random number that you get the character from, or sorry, that you get from this characters array. So if I put this in here, let's see what happens. So I'm just going to copy and paste my math.floor, math.random function into here, and let's see what I get. Oh, what I need to make sure that I'm doing though is taking this console log, and instead of logging a random number, how about let's log the variable winner. We'll just pick a random winner, I guess. So save that. Let's see if this helps me. Trying to log winner, and it's not working. Huh, I wonder what the problem is. Well, let's see here. Let's just break down this. So I have a variable, winner, that makes sense, equals a character from this characters array. Oh, look, I forgot my S. There we go. Oh, look, it is. It's Mario. So just not having that S on there can actually really mess up what you're trying to do. So make sure that you're putting the exact same names from the arrays into the places that you want to use them. So I have characters right here, and it gave me Mario. Cool, let's see if I can get another one. Just reload it here. Oh, it gave me Yoshi. Awesome. It gave me undefined. I don't have the word undefined here. Huh, I wonder what's wrong. There's no undefined written there. Let me try it again. Oh, it gave me Peach this time. Okay, cool. Gave me Mario this time. Cool. Give me Luigi. Awesome. See if I can get another one. Undefined again? Seriously, what's going on? So let's go through this again to see if like there's any problem. Why would it be giving me undefined? So variable winner, we already said that's fine. We got the equal sign, and then the characters, which we already said was right. Math.floor, that was the same as up here. Math.random, that was the same as up here. You got your parentheses, multiply, and then it comes to this 10. Well, let's think about what this 10 represents again. Remember, we're looking for a number between 0 and 10 here. Oh. Well, let's see what this 10 might end up represent. If it's between 1 and 10, then my number could be 8, right? But if I go back here to my arrays, what I notice is that Mario is 0, Luigi's 1, Peach is 2, Yoshi is 3, there's no 8. Oh, that's why I'm getting an undefined, because it's 1 and 8. So how many would I actually have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. I could get 4 possible answers, and so let's get between 0 and 4. Oh, there we go. Yoshi, let's see if I get an undefined again. Peach, nope. Mario. All right, now I fixed it, right? Well, here's the other problem. What if I wanted to add another person? Right? Remember how you could do a push? Like, remember my other favorite character, Toad? So, for example, if I wanted to come up here and then added the character Toad in there, guess what? I just added Toad. You can't really see it right this second, but Toad is added there by having the characters.push and then Toad right there. Got to make sure I have my quotation marks around there. So here's Toad. Cool. So I just added Toad to the characters here. And now I'm going to have to adjust this, right? Well, that's going to get really annoying if every time I add somebody to my characters array that I have to change this little number right here. Well, there's actually a little way that we can get around this. What we're doing basically is having to count the number of items indexed here in the array. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And so before I had 4 and it wouldn't have ever given me Toad. So I had to change it to 5 so that it would give me Toad at some point. So what I can actually do, there's a little thing that actually will count the number of indices in your array. And that's actually called the dot length method. You'll learn about methods a little bit later, but for the purposes of this, there's an actual easy way to do this. So if you actually say characters dot length, what it's doing is saying how many indices are in this array characters and returning that number. So it's returning me automatically the number 5. Well, why 5? Because we have only 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's because we pushed Toad into this array right here. So let's see if we can ever get Toad out of here and make it actually work. So there's Peach, there's Luigi, there's Yoshi, there's Mario, there's Yoshi. We're going to try to get it here. Peach, Toad, there it is, see? So even though it's not right here, because we pushed it into this array, it showed up. This is the basic way that you can make sure that you always get a random value out of any array that you have. This is the formula right here. You're going to usually declare a variable. You can call it whatever you want. You're going to say, here's the array that I want to call from, and then this is the index that I want to call it from. But then there's a big, huge formula in here. Well, this big, huge formula, we already understand it. We have the math.floor to make sure it's rounded down. We have the math.random to make sure we get a random number, right? But then we have to say it's got to be a number that's not just 0.357 something or other. We have to multiply it by the number of indices there are in this array. What that ends up looking like is that you just get the characters.length, and that says that you'll be 5. There's, again, Mario 1, Luigi 2, Peach 3, Yoshi 4, and then we push Toad into this array. So there's 5, and so that automatically measures it for you. Below, I'm going to give you some great resources for working with random functions on JavaScript. Feel free to explore them, but this page in particular on w3schools.com gives you everything you need to know about randomness, and then you can link back to your arrays section to learn about how you could possibly work together with arrays to push new values in, take new objects out, and ultimately get as many random players or items or weapons or whatever you want for your games. You can randomly assign them to the players, and we'll learn how to print them on the page and things like that in subsequent courses. Thanks.